Nothing like sneezing live on YouTube.
Hashtag off. You see the UFC, by the way, pulled out of here this weekend? One of their fighters had some clearance issues, so they moved the whole
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the D3Hoop.com Classic. Bad voice.
Oh, he's technically on there. Temporarily. He's upstairs setting up.
Well, nobody's watching yet, so.
Yeah, no problem. Okay, the sign's tested, it works.
And Randy's very good with Patty for all that.
Tested, it works. 720p at 60 hertz.
That's great.
I talked about that's fine. I probably should.
Whether it's morning, afternoon, or evening, wherever you are, thanks for joining us and welcome to the D3Hoops.com Classic. This is the backup stream, and it is a long story, but it's a good one. And we'll get that, we'll explain that for you over the course of the next several minutes as we get you ready for the start of our first game of 18 here at the D3Hoops.com Classic, and that is between UW Stevens Point and Willamette. I'm Pat Coleman. I'll be joined by Dave McHugh a little bit later on the actual stream that this game belongs on. And long story short, Dave was supposed to be here last night. His flight out of Indianapolis never happened. We got him a flight from Indy to Detroit and then to Las Vegas, where he got here a good hour or so before this game was scheduled to tip off, or that we were scheduled to hit the air. So what's happening today here for the first maybe for the first half, maybe for just the first period, something like that, maybe we'll even get on sooner than that, is we'll be starting here on my cell phone, which oddly enough provides a fairly decent picture, all things considered. We are glad that you're able to join us here. We'll be back in just a couple of minutes with starting lineups for game one.
Over the last 3 years, Lisa just this summer hired 4 West Coast people. Hell, she already not a Wyoming professional. And Patty, the door got kicked down, and I'd say she's probably hired about 10 to 12 West Coast officials over the last 2 years. It's a different dynamic. I'm a West Coast. I don't consider myself a West Coast official. I work Mountain West, Midwest, but I don't consider myself Midwest. I went to her team. I went once and I shouldn't have went back since. I heard that about the first time. I said, she's going in my direction. there. How are you today? Back again.
And welcome back once again, everybody, as we get you ready for tip-off of Game 1 of the first game of 18. Just 5 of them today here at the D3Hoops.com Classic. I'm Pat Coleman. We're joined by Dave McHugh a little bit later here in the course of this broadcast. Dave, should have been here last night, but through the magic of Southwest Airlines, got here about an hour ago. So this setup, which normally he would do over the course of a couple of hours, he's had about 30 minutes to do it, and he's working his tail off at it. So as that gets all set up, we will start you here, broadcasting through my cell phone, which I love. This is fantastic. It's like 2011 all over again, except with a better camera. I'll get a picture of the setup for later use. Got my Bluetooth headset. I've got everything that we need, and I'll be acting as my own cameraman, and we'll have no graphics here for the first several minutes, but you can get live stats on the D3Hoops.com website, and we are glad that you joined us. So, ladies and gentlemen, our Star Spangled Banner. So we'll apologize now for the non-standard camera angle. But as I said, we're starting here on the backup stream, and then we'll get you live on our main stream once everything is all set up technologically here at the South Point Arena in Las Vegas, Nevada, home of the D3Hoops.com Classic, now in its 9th season. And we start today with UW-Stevens Point versus Willamette-UWSP. The Pointers out of Stevens Point, Wisconsin, out of the WIAC, come in at 4-5 overall. And they will start in the backcourt with a 5'7" freshman out of Brodhead, Wisconsin, wearing number 2, Aaron Nias. Joined in the backcourt by a 5'8" sophomore out of Kewanee, Wisconsin, wearing number 12, Brooke Geyer. Another guard, a 5'8" junior out of De Pere, Wisconsin, wearing number 31, is Carly Serrato. In the front court, a 5'11" freshman out of Plainfield, Wisconsin, number 44, Amber Bayman. And a sophomore post, 6'1", out of Milton, Wisconsin, number 41, Bailey Collins. Shirley Egner, the head coach of the Pointers, in her 30th season. 30th. I just say that because it's exactly how Dave would say it too, I'm pretty sure. As you can see, Dave hustling to get wires connected and all of that. The Bearcats for Willamette out of Salem, Oregon. Now, their starting point guard injured and will not be participating this weekend, so we will have a new face in the backcourt, and that will be Casson Hopkins, a 5'9" junior out of Connell, Washington. Amanda Carpenter, a 5'9" sophomore out of Beaverton, Oregon, in the backcourt as well, along with Brittany Kokendorfer, a 5'10" senior out of Klamath Falls, Oregon. Kaylee Vickery, a 5'7" junior guard out of Glide, Oregon, wearing number 34, and Elizabeth Logsdam, a junior forward, standing 6'1", out of McMinnville, Oregon. She wears number 24. She'll be jumping it up against Amber Bayman, and I am acting as my own cameraman, so I apologize in advance because you never know how things are going to go. That's the Pointers in the purple, and in the white is the Bearcat, and taking the tip and taking it to the hole for the first two is Brittany Kokendorfer. Kokendorfer and her team need to step up a little bit here in the course of this. Drew Farmer, the junior point guard out of Brookings, Oregon, injured, unable to play. He's a team leader in assists. Here's Stevens Point, first shot on the way, no good, off to the left, and the rebound is going to go out of bounds, and it will be Willamette basketball. So the Pointers in the purple with the gold. That's Willamette here in the white with the red trim, red kind of scarlet. Some gold accents for the Bearcats. See, there in the background, one of the new things here at the tournament this year in its 9th year, we've got some pretty nice looking banners that now hang at one end of the arena. This is a pretty big arena for a Division III game. Bounce pass underneath, and finishing it off is Elizabeth Logsdam. It is 4-0 Willamette here in the early going, 9:06 remaining in the first period. Glad you joined us at the D3Hoops.com Classic. Again, you're watching our backup stream. And we'll have the main stream with all the bells and some of the whistles and, you know, an on-screen score board and that sort of thing. Here's Stevens Point with the shot clock ticking down, and Erin Nias, the freshman, takes it to the hole for two. Nias getting her first start of the season for Shirley Egner's squad, and it's the first 2 points of the afternoon for the Pointers. 8:37 to go here in the first period. Bearcats starting their defense way out front. Here's a 20-footer. Rattles out, no good by Hopkins. Rebounded on the run by Stevens Point. So far, it's not been as difficult as I thought to move the camera as I do the play-by-play. And the basket on the putback is good by Bailey Collins, and she'll go to the line. Logsdam picks up the foul. It's her first team foul of the game. First game of 5. First game of 18. Okay, I'll think of it as first game of 5. That makes it a little better. Here's Collins at the line to try to finish the three-point play, and she does. 56.3% free throw shooter coming in, and gives the Pointers their first lead of the game at 5-4. Thanks to the miracle of Samsung Galaxy S9 and YouTube's mobile app, we are on here for the beginning of the first game. And Brittany Kokendorfer is going to be called for the offensive foul there. And what I should do is the next time there's a break is go over to the expected stream and just post a note that we're over here. We're over here for now. Come find us. Thanks for joining us. 7:56 to go here in the first period. 5-4. Now make it 8-4. The big three ball by Carly Serrato gives the Pointers a 4-point advantage. Hopkins doing a lot of handling of the basketball here in the early going, and nearly throws it away. It's going to get deflected out of bounds, Dave. Well, I think we got a bald person on it now. Dave is like at the exact wrong end. Here's a little bit of the reason why. We're just still getting set up. Dave is setting up a camera here. Setting up a laptop. There's bags. There's all sorts of stuff. But a cell phone will do in a pinch. Because technology. You see 7:23 to go here in the first period. Shot clock ticking down. Hopkins pass somehow gets in the corner. Three ball on the way as the shot clock expires, and it's good for Amanda Carpenter. Big bucket. Cuts the lead down to 1. I have no cough button. We have no on-screen scoreboard. If I cough, it's going to be straight into the microphone, and I apologize in advance. Pointers with the basketball, dribbling in. Shot partially blocked. I don't know if they call that a block or a steal, but Kaylee Vickery with the basketball swings right past us. The speed of the game seems a lot faster from a floor camera, and the three ball rattled home. Casson Hopkins with the shot. 32% three-point shooter. Willamette reclaims the lead. 10-8 here as we're coming up on the midway point of the first period. No media timeouts here in these games. Because for goodness sake, how would we ever get through 5 of them, let alone 6? Brooke Geyer with the basket. I haven't called a basketball game alone in a long time. This is not as bad as I thought it would be. I have a lot of things to keep me busy. Kick out in the corner, Kokendorfer launches it, shot no good, and there to collect the rebound is Amber Bateman. And double dribble. I'm going to try to take this time to tell people to come join us on this stream. You expect us on another stream because that's the stream that's out there, but you know, sometimes technology, right? Am I right or am I right?
Doing there. You look like the most efficient person around. I'm shooting the 2 o'clock game, and I see there are some pubs down there. Can I plug in down there for my computer? Thanks very much.
All right. A couple of back and forth possessions, 5:24 and counting remaining in the first period. Dave is going to try to wire some stuff around me. Go ahead. While we're in half court, it's probably the best time to do this, right? 3 ball on the way, a little bit short. Rebound. Oh, not that. We were doing so well. We were doing so well, Dave. You should see the spindly little tripod that this is set up on. 10-10 the score. Under halfway through, or just over halfway through the first period. Madison Ballard with the basketball. Now that's Casson Hopkins. Dribbles out on the wing. Back for Ballard. Shot clock at 8. Launches from 23, too short. Line drive shot, rebound out on the perimeter by Serrato. Now people have begun to see that this is where our stream is. I apologize, it's a little shaky at the moment. Basket good for the Pointers. So Willamette attacking the basket door right here in the first half, here in the first period. Dribbling in is Kokendorfer, and a shot on the way, no good, and there'll be a foul. First team foul against Stevens Point here in the early going. We're always super happy to have a dedicated group of officials that come and work these games on a regular basis. They also know that as the people who work game 1 of 5, Morgan Yamane's first shot is good. First free throw made of the season in 6 attempts. They know, these officials do, that we got a lot of games to follow. So these games move relatively well, knock on whatever this table's made out of. Second shot good for Yamane. First 2 points of the afternoon. All tied up at 12 apiece. Stevens Point here in the purple with the gold numbers. You know, whatever technological hurdles we have to go through to bring these games, we are going to do it. That's all I'm going to say. Taylor Greenheck gives it up. Serrato with it on the wing. Working in the low post. Back out for Serrato. Shot clock at 5. Takes it in. Shot blocked by Vickery. Rebound. And the basket is good by Jordan Ellis. They used all 29 and a half seconds of that shot clock to get the basket. And the Pointers back up by 2. Ball deflected out of bounds. Will remain in the Willamette end. Dave's setting up a GoPro. He's got a Canon Vixia, I'm pretty sure, because I have that exact same camera set up for other stuff. He got off of the airplane somewhere around 9:45 this morning, I think, Pacific time. Turnover by the Bearcats, pushing it up and then throwing it away. Taylor Greenheck. Some discussion about making sure to fill the lanes on your fast break, which is what I was taught by my 5th grade basketball coach. It's never more true. Greenheck was, I think, expecting the person coming down the near side of the floor to be a little bit wider. Threw it out wider. Shot clock at 8. Here's a 3 ball on the way, off to the right by Ballard. Long rebound and unable to save it from going out of bounds is Carpenter, so it will be Pointer basketball. 14-12 our score. Pointers with the lead in the basketball here with 2:53 to go in the first period. I don't know if you hear Shirley Egner calling out a play there. I can hear it, but I know I'm working with a Bluetooth headset. Maybe that's not my best choice. There's a shot in the post. A nice move by Kellen Schmidt. I don't think anybody could see it because the official was right in front of us, but it was pretty. It was fairly pretty. 16-12, biggest lead of the afternoon here for the Pointers. And in the post, Logsdon is going to get fouled and he's going to go to the line. I just checked. The audio quality is fairly decent, all things considered. First shot good by Logsdon. Logsdon came into the afternoon a 7 for 16 free throw shooter. Dave's throwing up his hands. We're doing it live. We don't need this. We don't need all this fancy stuff, man. We just need a cell phone and a battery pack or something. It would be nice to have, like the score on the screen and that sort of stuff. Logsdon's second shot is good. Cuts the lead back down to 2. High scoring first period. Here, still with 2:21 to go. 2 team fouls each way. Pointers bringing it up. They're working on the basket to our left. Pat Coleman here. Be joined by Dave McHugh as soon as he's done setting things up. And a little shaky on the camera. My bad. 3 ball, no good. Rebound tipped and controlled by the Bearcats. Dave's getting the fancy text set up. I'm calling the game through a cell phone because you can do that in 2018, which is good because we only have a few days left of it. Hopkins kicks it outside. Kokendorfer gonna bounce pass underneath. Shot in there, good. And with a chance for the 3-point play is Avery Mickelson. Avery Mickelson coming into the day averaging 1.6 points a game. Freshman from Ephrata, Washington. Third team foul here in the early going for the point. Mickelson 3 of 6 from the line on the season, make it 3 of 7, and Bayman there to collect the rebound. All tied up at 16 apiece with a buck and a half to go here in the first period. Glad you joined us. Calling a game from my cell phone, which is something we used to do in the 90s, except without cell phones. Back then we didn't have cameras on them. Avery Mickelson picked up the foul. That is her first, team's third, and inbounds, and the shot right away, no good from Bailey Collins. Gets her own rebound. Putback is no good, and there to collect it is Amanda Carpenter. Bearcats with the basketball, looking to take the lead. Been a pretty back and forth first period here in the first game of the day at the D3Hoops.com Classic. We'll be joined by Dave McHugh in a little bit. Dave got no sleep last night, and he has all the technology. He came in from Baltimore to Indianapolis to Detroit to Las Vegas. Fouls on Bailey Collins, and that's number 2 on her. We'll keep an eye on that and how that develops. Bearcats inbound. Under a minute to go here in the first period, and the ball is lost out of bounds, deflected off of a Pointer player, and will remain Bearcat basketball with 24 to shoot. Bearcats here in the early going, 5 of 9 from the floor, 2 of 5 from downtown. Stevens Point had a lot of looks at the basket, not very many successful ones, 7 of 17 from the floor, 1 for 4 from downtown. Brooke Geyer knocks the ball away. injects herself into the passing lane, gets a big round of applause and support from the Pointer bench right in front of her. Shot clock at 12. Bearcat basketball. Hopkins on the near wing for Kokendorfer, and back outside, shot clock at 4. Hopkins, 3-ball on the way, and hits it. Nothing but the bottom of the net, and it's a 3-point lead for Willamette. Shot clock off. 20 seconds to go here in the first period. Pointers with the basketball. Out of the wing with it is Greenheck. Greenheck puts it on the floor, dribbles in, finds her way blocked, pass deflected, but corralled by Serrato. She launches and airballs it with about 3 seconds left. The ball is still live in play, and that's how the first period will end. So we've come to the end of one with our score. Willamette leading Stevens Point 19-16. But look, I can zoom. I can zoom very poorly. Here at the D3Hoops.com Classic from South Point Arena in Las Vegas, Nevada, you see the 18 teams participating in this event. My goodness. Yeah, that's all. From Husson to Willamette, geographically. We'll take a second to get you your first period stats. Willamette with the 19-16 lead. The Bearcats are 6 of 10 from the floor, 60%, 3 of 6 from beyond the arc, and 4 of 5 from the line. 4 turnovers for the Bearcats compared to just 2 for the Pointers. And the Pointers are 7 of 18 from the floor here in the early going, 38.9%, 1 for 5 from beyond the arc. Let you do the math, and a perfect 1 for 1 from the foul line. 9-6 the rebounding advantage for the Pointers. Casson Hopkins hot in the early going for the Bearcats, 3 of 4 from the floor, 3 for 3 from beyond the arc for her 9, a game high 9. Carly Serrato with 5 points in the first period, 1 for 4 from beyond the arc, 1 for 4 from inside the arc as well. And she leads the Pointers with 5 as they get the ball here to start the second period. Again, you're joining us on our backup stream. We thank you for doing that. Actually, I'm fairly happy with 40 people watching a broadcast that is streamed through my cell phone. Welcome to either 2018 or 2011. I'm not sure which. It's some weird combination of the two. Willamette with the lead in the basketball here in the early going. ETA on the normal stream getting up and running. I suspect we'll do that at the half. Looking at how Dave's set up here. Hi, Dave. Say hi to the camera. There we go. Dave is looking like we're just doing final setup-y type things. But there's no point in changing in the middle of the period. We have a 15-minute halftime to do all those adjustments. But thank you for asking. And I'm also super glad that the YouTube app popped that right up on my phone so I could answer it. Pointers with the basketball here. And the basket to our left in the first period. That's a baseline jumper good for Bayman from about 18 feet out. Cuts the lead down to 1. As you can tell, and I'll get you a good shot here at how deep this other end of the arena is. Back there is where the equestrian stables are. Every once in a while you can smell. You can't, but we can. But the shooting backdrop is a little bit more difficult often in this end of the facility, but the Bearcats have done pretty well here in the early going, and they lead by 1, 19-18. Dribbling in, shot thrown up there by Hopkins is no good, and rebounded by the Pointers. It's Amber Bayman, the 5'11 freshman, bringing it up all the way herself. Coming up on the baseline, shot is no good. And the officials take timeout as Brooke Geyer was straddling, basically, trying to get untangled from a Willamette player. It was Brittany Kokendorfer, still a little slow to get up, and we'll see what we can find out about that as things progress. Willamette, of course, coming in already a little bit shorthanded. We mentioned at the top, Drew Farmer, the starting point guard, the junior out of Brookings, Oregon, unavailable to play, at least today, and presumably for the entire weekend, got hurt. It's a team that comes into the season, or comes into the tournament at 5-4. 1-2 in the conference. And, you know, without their main trigger person up top, Drew Farmer, who started all 9 games, we've seen Cassie Hopkins, who's right here with the basketball, getting a lot of work running the offense. Carpenter looks inside. That's Logsdam. Her shot is no good. And rebounded by the Pointers. (19-18) the score, 7:52 and counting here in the second period. Nice entry pass into the post, but Bayman unable to hold on to it. She finally corrals it, but misses the shot, and it's a rebound by Logsdam. The Pointers on the other side, they come in at 4-5. WIAC play doesn't start until after the holiday break, and this ball is out of bounds, and it will be Bearcat basketball. Jordan Ellis checking back in. And she replaces Bailey Collins. Collins had 2 fouls in the first period, and the shot was good from Amanda Carpenter as the Bearcats continue to be hot from long range here in the early going, and they lead the Pointers 22-18. Inside, and looks like Jordan Ellis is going to draw a foul. Just 7 fouls total in the first period. This is the second team foul for the Bearcats here in this period. Inbound in the corner for the Pointers. Down by 4. Greenheck puts the ball on the floor, runs it up to the basket, and hits the layup. It's good. Cuts the lead to a bucket. Greenheck with her first 2 points of the afternoon. Lucy Morrill picks up her dribble. Coming up top to get it is Madison Ballard. Some of the limited bench getting a lot of action here for the Bearcats. They started the day with 9, and a 3 ball on the way, no good by Carpenter. Started with 9, and of course, with Kokendorfer going down, and she's still being looked at by the training staff. That bench gets just a little bit thinner. They have a 2-point advantage here with 6:19 to go in the second period. Schmidt working away in, shot blocked from behind. Nice block there by Logsdam. And the Bearcats bring it back the other way. You're on the backup stream. We hope to have the main stream ready for you for the second half. For a backup stream, I hope this is not so bad. But I appreciate you guys tuning in. Pat Coleman for D3Hoops.com here at the D3 Hoops Classic. And the 3 ball is a little bit short, a little bit off to the right by Madison Ballard. Willamette, though, shooting pretty 3-point range over the course of the afternoon, and coming into today, hitting on 30.7% of their shots from beyond the Jessica Slowick into the game for the first time. She dribbles in from the corner, puts it up, and is going to draw the foul. Nice job attacking the basket for the freshman out of Elko, Wisconsin. Shot is up and good. One more to come for Slowick, her first 2 free throws of the season. And she makes them both. Knots it all up at 22 apiece here with 5:28 and counting in the first period. The mainstream has a lot of other things connected to it rather than a cell phone, and Dave is finishing up those connections as we speak. I apologize.
Your internet should be back up.
I got this. That's static on everything.
Outside Morrill, now a 3-pointer on the way from Carpenter, a little bit too strong, no good. Rebound battled for, and Vickery comes up with a fresh 30 for the Bearcats. Again, Carpenter, this one rattles out. and it's rebounded by the Pointers. 4 of their first 5 from downtown, and the 3-point shooting numbers have cooled off just a little bit here for the Bearcats. Coming up the baseline and hitting on it is Jordan Ellis. Ellis, nice move up the baseline. It goes reverse for 2.
The other one's for an ISDN.
24-22, Pointers back in the lead.
I'll try this.
Lucy Morrill with the basketball for Willamette. Madison Ballard, guarded by Nias. Crossover dribble, kicks it back outside for Morrill. 3-ball on the way, and that one's good. Ends the 3-point drought just a little bit. And it's a 25-24 Willamette lead once again. Three-pointer for the Pointers, no good. Rebound corralled out on the perimeter by Geyer. Tries to flip it back inside for Schmidt, but it's deflected and taken away by the Bearcats. Willamette basketball. Out of the wing with it is Morrill, up top for Carpenter. Drives in, loses the handle on it. Unforced turnover, and finally corralled by the Pointers. I apologize, in this low-tech scenario, I do not have a cough button or a mute button or anything. Schmidt with the basketball. Swings far side for Geyer. She's going to launch from 23, and she hits it. And the Pointers are back up by 2, 27-25. Brooke Geyer, one of the leading 3-point shooters on the squad at 32.3%. Made that one look easy. Vickery inside for Carpenter. Carpenter takes it to the hole, leaves it a little short. You hear Peg Swadner, the Willamette head coach, telling her team to hustle back on defense. Swadner in her 7th season as the head of the Bearcats. Talking to us before the game about how they were hoping to make an impression this week, and then lost a couple kids before the season started because of the typical Division III things, family stuff, you know, having to go work for a year, and then having their starting point guard go out injured. Wholesale changes for the Pointers. We'll get refresh on the lineup. Jordan Ellis, Amber Baben on the floor, along with Taylor Greenheck. Marissa Delaney into the game, along with Erin Moran. The shot no good. Rebounded by the Bearcats. 27-25. Pointers with the lead. Willamette with the basketball. 2:20 to go here in the first half. From the D3Hoops.com Classic, you are courtside because I am courtside, and that is the only way this is going to happen. And Madison Ballard, 50 move, driving the lane for 2 to tie it up at 27. It's a cell phone in landscape mode, for goodness sake, attached to a little spindly leg tripod, and I'm on a Bluetooth headset, and that is how it works. Shot clock at 10 for the Pointers. Little floater, no good by Ellis, and the Bearcats with the board. Bearcats had a little bit of a lull. Pointers took the lead, but it was all tied up at 27 apiece. Hopkins outside, 3-ball on the way, and it is good. Madison Ballard putting it up there. Shooting 18.6% from 3-point range in her young collegiate career coming into the afternoon, and buried that one, and Willamette's back up by 3. Ellis with the basketball, top of the key for the Pointers. Near side, now looking inside. Getting it is Bayman. Bayman, bounce pass, and Ellis is going to get fouled trying to take it up to the basket. Morgan Yone with the foul. 4th team foul of the second period for Willamette. Shot on the way is no good. Ellis, 5'11" freshman post out of Winneconne, Wisconsin. 4 for 8 from the foul line on the season and for her career coming in to the afternoon. Second shot on the way. This one goes around and in. Kellen Schmidt and Brooke Geyer come back into the game along with Carly Serrato for the Pointers. Peg Swainer with some instructions for her team in the backcourt. The Bearcats will bring the ball up with 53 seconds to go here in the second period. Once upon a time, we never would have gotten this first half of the game on at all. And in this day and age, you can call a game from a cell phone. We didn't even have to use Periscope. We had actual YouTube. I'm perfectly happy about that. Shot clock at 6 and a travel. Casson Hopkins looking for her teammate out on the perimeter. And just a little bit too much hesitation. Just about a second and a half differential between the game clock and the shot clock here. So this could be the last possession of the first half. Pointers down by 2. Looking on the baseline with it, kicks back outside, swung around up top. Serrato triggers a 3, airballs it off the bottom of the net, and it will be Bearcat basketball with 12.8 to go. Yes, it's like being thanks for the, it is like being in the Jack Nicholson seats or something like that. That's definitely one way to put it. 7 seconds to go. Carpenter going to launch a 3, and it's off the front iron, no good. Rebound, and the shot is good if it goes, but it does not. Logsdam there to collect the rebound and could not quite get it to roll around and in, and that is how the first half will end. With the Bearcats of Willamette University out of Salem, Oregon, leading the UW Stevens Point Pointers out of Stevens Point, Wisconsin by the score of 30-28. Stick with me for just a minute. I'm going to take a short pause, then I'll get you halftime stats. And then, I'm looking over at Dave. Yeah, and then we'll get you to the mainstream. But we are so happy that you joined us here at the D3Hoops.com Classic. The first game of 5 today, the first game of 18 for the weekend. Coming up after this, on a different stream, we will have Carthage and Ohio Northern University. That game is scheduled to tip off at 2 p.m. Pacific time, 5 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Central. And then we'll follow that with 3 men's games. North Central faces Husson, that game at 4 o'clock Pacific, 7 o'clock on the East Coast. At 6 o'clock, it's Edgewood versus UW-Platteville. And then at 8 o'clock, the nightcap, the final game of the day, will be between Linfield and Ohio Northern. Those last 3 all men's games. Willamette will come back tomorrow afternoon and face Ohio Northern. Stevens Point's second game here at the tournament, they just face Amherst, the 2-time defending national champ. No big deal. Hey, Amherst has even lost a game this year. They're only ranked number 7, which is probably the lowest Amherst has been ranked in about 5 years. Amherst, super beatable, I'm sure. And let's take a look at these halftime stats. Willamette 10 of 23 in the first half from the floor, 43.5%, 6 for 13 from beyond the arc, 46% at 4 for 5 from the free throw line. 6 turnovers compared to 3 for Stevens Point. They were out-rebounded by the Pointers, 17-14. Pointers 11 of 31 from the field in the first 20 minutes, 36%, 2 of 9 from beyond the arc, 22%, and 4 for 5 from foul line. Casson Hopkins with 9 points, all of them in the first quarter. 3 for 5 from the floor, 3 for 3 from beyond the arc. She leads the Bearcats and leads all scorers with 9. Madison Ballard off the bench with 5. Elizabeth Logson with 4. Morrill and Carpenter with 3 apiece. Avery Mickelson with a bucket. Morgan Yamane with 2. Brittany Kokendorfer with 2 points. We'll try to find out more about her status before we come back for the second half. The Pointers side of the ledger, the Pointers are led by Jordan Ellis with 5 points off the bench, 2 for 3 from the floor, 1 for 2 from the arc, along with Carly Serrato, started and has 5 points, 2 for 9 from the floor, 1 for 5 from 3-point range. Amber Bayman, the freshman starter, leading everybody with 5 rebounds, also with 4 points, 2 for 5 from the field in the first 20 minutes from her. Then it was Brooke Geyer and Bailey Collins with 3 apiece. With 2 points apiece, it's Erin Nyish, Jessica Slowick, Taylor Greenhack, and Kellen Schmidt. First half, it's Willamette leading UW-Stevens Point by the score of 30-28. We're going to leave this stream active until we get everything hooked up, and then I'll come on and let you know when it's safe to go back to the original stream that we promoted for this game. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in while I call the game and Dave does all the work. We'll be back in just a few minutes.
Huh? I can give him an audio jack.
Working on it.
Test 1 2 1 2 test. Test 1 2 1 2 test.
Turn it up some, Dave.
1 2 test.
Turn it up some.
Test 1 2 1 2 test. Test 1
Go.
2 1
Okay,
2
good.
test.
Hey, thank you, Ray.
I'm getting an air I've never seen before. No, I'm just letting you know.
No, whatever works. And do you need telephone or do you need just internet? Yeah, so you got plenty of options here.
John Weiser, by the way, good to see you
Yeah,
again.
we've met, right?
Yes, we have.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think you can just plug one of those cables into this router and work from here. It's probably fine. And the halftime stats, like they'll send stats over at the quarter over here anyway. So perfect. Great. We should be in good shape. Yeah, I don't know. Much of this cabling doesn't belong to us. So. Let me clear you off something resembling a spot here. I'll tell you what does belong to us and what I would be worried about.
Yeah.
Understandable, especially because
Stay out of your way.
I don't know if you heard Dave's flight out of his connection out of Indianapolis to get here last night. So we had to fly him first thing in the morning to Detroit and then to here. So that should be a good connection for you.
Well, visiting, you guys know visiting, you're supposed to show up, plug in wherever?
Knock on wood. Sorry?
Visiting, you want to show up, plug in wherever?
Yeah, wherever you. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. How you doing, sir?
All right. I'm R.J. Osterhaus, it's Mark Keevan staff.
All right.
How you doing? Pat Coleman, D3Hoops.com.
Bad, nice to meet you.
You bet. Welcome. Who are you guys with?
UW Planet,
Okay, gotcha. Yeah. So
Queen Bee Radio.
this is a spot that will be available by then. Okay.
Oh, there's
Okay.
there's the router there.
Yeah, exactly. Yep, and that's the Ethernet. So
Cool.
all right.
We're just getting lay of the land down here, so.
Sounds good. Yep. You guys are the six.
Yes.
It's all gonna run together by then. For me.
Will there be somebody there in the game before or not?
What's going on?
Husson doesn't travel radio, by the way. And North Central's radio is students. They did not work here the last time, so I assume they're not here.
Okay.
I saw two maybe.
But they might be coming?
So I just.
Yeah.
We haven't done our favorite MC anymore. He finally started.
Oh yeah, but not radio. That guy was.
Oh, he made a radio comment.
Yeah, he wanted to be on our broadcast.
Oh, ours? Oh, man. You went to
I'm pretty sure he was joking.
All right.
Anyway, so
I'm using the wire.
should be plenty. There should be plenty of clearance.
All right. Good deal.
All right.
Sounds good. Thanks,
All right.
Matt.
See you guys
Appreciate it.
later.
Thanks.
All right.
See you later.
You
Take
bet.
care.
You too.
I'm trying to solve this problem. Keep getting more.
Yeah. And I did not have to go through any authentication to get on the
Perfect.
on there, so you should be okay. But
Great.
you know, I don't know how your how those systems handle those things at all. So
I think anybody here, Colorado, we got a replay to start the game. Right? They come over on the referee. Are you the referee? Yeah. Are you? Yeah.
Yeah, heck, good.
all right, folks, you can probably tell that you're still here on the backup stream. We are glad to have you. As I drag my fingers all over everything. But welcome back. Dave is working out some technical stuff that will get us, we'll get you updated and we'll let you know when it's time and when it's safe to switch over. There's 12 people waiting on the mainstream, and we apologize to them. But we've been trying to tell them to come join us here, where Willamette leads UW-Stevens Point by the score of 30-28. Pat Coleman for D3Hoops.com, acting as play-by-play broadcaster and camera operator and chief cook and bottle washer. The guy who updates the stats. We gave you halftime stats before we went to break. There's the Pointers with the basketball here, attacking the basket to our right. And the first bucket of the half is good for the Pointers. Amber Bayman from downtown for 3. For those of you who didn't hear the story, Dave McHugh's flight was supposed to get him here around, maybe 10 o'clock last night. It ended up being canceled, his connection out of Indianapolis, so we routed him in total from Baltimore to Indianapolis to Detroit, because you always want to backtrack, and then to Las Vegas, and he did get to Las Vegas about an hour and a half or so before game started, and his equipment got here, which is almost as impressive, if not more so. Thank you, Delta Airlines. And so this setup, which normally would have been started last night and finished this morning, started 30 minutes before game time. And we're working it through. And meanwhile, we're broadcasting via a cell phone and the YouTube app. And a long 2 is good for Carpenter, the first bucket for the Bearcats here of the second half. I'm actually going to have to ask if you guys can hear me better. I switched headsets. Is good for Carpenter, the first bucket. Sounds like it should be better. Of the second half. Spin move. Shot no good. And rebounded by Kokendorfer. Remember, Kokendorfer left the first half a little bit early. I don't know if she took a basketball to the face or got something in her eye or something along those lines. A big piece for this squad. That 3 ball no good. Logsdon with the easy rebound. Shot clock does not reset. And it is at 7. Hopkins kicks it near side. Kokendorfer launches a 3 with 2 on the shot clock. No good. Rebound is going to be chased out of bounds, and it will be Pointer basketball. Nias, Geyer, Serrato, Collins, and Bayman for the Pointers. The Bearcats, after bringing Logsdon to the bench, we'll get you a reach set on the Bearcats lineup in just a moment. Amanda Carpenter, her second of the game. First shot is good by Bayman. So it's Carpenter, Avery Mickelson, Kokendorfer, Casson Hopkins, and Kaylee Vickery on the floor right now for the Bearcats, who trail 33-32. The second free throw is good for the Pointers. Glad you stuck with us here on the backup stream. It is it's working well for us. And we apologize to the 12 of you waiting to see us on the other stream. Maybe you just have 2 windows open, and that would be a really good idea. And a nice shot. Kokendorfer with a little pull-up in the lane and gets it to roll around and in. Kokendorfer, the leading scorer and rebounder for the Bearcats this season, 13.4 points, 11.7 rebounds coming into the afternoon. The 3 ball on the way, no good by Serrato, and it goes out of bounds. It'll remain Pointer basketball. Jordan Ellis comes back into the game. Amber Bayman will take a seat. Kaylee Vickery heads to the bench. And Madison Ballard comes back in for the Bearcats. Bearcats dressing just 9 today. 3 ball on the way from the left wing, and that is good from Brooke Geyer. Stevens Point just 2 of 9 from beyond the arc in the first half. Heating up here after halftime. Ballard swinging far side. That's Hopkins. Kokendorfer in the low post dribbles it back out. 12 on the shot clock. 5:55 to go here in the third period. That's a 3 on the way, and it is good for Amanda Carpenter. Carpenter with the big bucket puts her Bearcats squad back up by 1, 37-36. Pat Coleman here with game 1 of 5/18 from the D3Hoops.com Classic, South Point Arena in Las Vegas, Nevada. And working the low post, no good. Serrato, rebound, tips out, and coming in with it and making the basket for the Pointers is Aaron Nias. Back and forth game. Pointers back up by a point. Kokendorfer alone on the wing, then guarded very quickly by Brooke Geyer. Carpenter swings left for Hopkins, shot clock at 9. Dribbles into the foul line. Now Kokendorfer into the paint, tries a bounce pass inside to not quite sure who. Taken away by the Pointers. Kokendorfer expecting her teammate to flash to the basket from the low post extended. Bounds, work it in, shot no good, and Kokendorfer with the rebound for the Bearcats. Amanda Carpenter. Ballard back to Carpenter, lofts it up off the side of the backboard, no good, and rebounded by Jordan Ellis. And I hear Dave McHugh on the phone with tech support. That's always a welcome sound. .38-37 the score with 4:24 to go in the third period here from the D3Hoops.com Classic in Las Vegas. Pointers in the purple with the gold numerals and lettering, and trim working on the basket to our right here in the second half. Taking it in is Geyer, and Geyer's going to get fouled. A lot of contact between Geyer and Vickery, and I hope that the quality of the stream eases a little bit here. I see we're not looking great at the moment on Wi-Fi today. First shot good by Geyer. Geyer is 79% free throw shooter. Puts the Pointers up by 2. She's got one more coming. Dribbles, releases, and this one is good as well. Inbounds quickly up ahead. Hopkins with the basketball. Crossover dribble, tries to take it in, and she is fouled. Hopkins found not quite sliver in between / among 3 defenders for the Pointers. Hopkins will shoot a pair. 6 of 6 from the line coming into the afternoon. And now 7 for 7 after her first free throw of the day. Hopkins breaks into double figures with 10. Now she's got 11. And the deficit is cut to 1, 40-39. Pointers with the basketball. Slowick swings near side for Geyer. Out of the baseline with it is Ellis. Guarded by Kokendorfer, picks up her dribble. Tries to bounce pass, and it is taken away by Hopkins. Hopkins with the steal for Willamette. .318 to go here in the third period. Hopkins with it, left of the circle. Cross-court pass, Vickery. Up top for Ballard, the freshman launches from 23. Off the front iron, no good, and a foul on the rebound is going to go against Willamette. Kaylee Vickery picks up foul number 2 on the afternoon as she was trying to find a way for the rebound. Shirley Egner with a long conversation with Jordan Ellis before sending her to her seat on the bench. She comes out. Long 2 on the perimeter, no good. Rebounded by Geyer. Shot clock at 10. Geyer dribbles to the baseline and travels. Dribbled into the baseline and then stops dribbling. Didn't quite stop moving fast enough. Well, the Pointers with a 4-point lead, matching their biggest of the afternoon. Kokendorfer answers, however, with a 3-pointer. Kokendorfer, who missed at the final 4 minutes or so of the second period, has come out looking to make up for lost time. First 3 ball of the afternoon, she's got 7. Pointer basketball. And the shot is no good by Kellen Schmidt, but she will go to the line. Where she has had a quality season. It's also the 5th team foul against Willamette, so Pointers will be in the bonus here the rest of the period. And the first shot is good for Schmidt. Schmidt, 12 of 16 now from the line on the season, averaging 6.3 points and a hair under 5 rebounds a game as a sophomore for these Pointers. Second shot on the way, and that one is good as well. Pair of points for the Pointers. Makes it 42 apiece. Pass deflected out of bounds off Carly Serrato. And it will remain Willamette basketball. Kokendorfer to inbounds in the front court. Ballard gets it. Shot clock is at 15. You see Peg Swaitner there standing on the sidelines right in front of her team. Kokendorfer with the shot clock at 6, puts it up and hits it. Kokendorfer, back-to-back 3 balls. She's in double figures. And the Willamette lead is 3 points, 35-42. A minute 34 and counting remaining in the third period here from Las Vegas, Nevada, the South Point Arena. The D3Hoops.com Classic driving in, and the shot is good for the Pointers. And they cut the lead down to 1, 45-44. A little bit of pressure there on the perimeter now being applied by the Pointers, and ball goes out of bounds. I apologize that it's not the smoothest of transitions whenever I'm moving the camera here. And this is the backup stream, and we are glad to have you. We're glad to be able to bring you this game. I find it very interesting that the screen that you guys see is significantly different than mine. You have more area along the bottom of the picture than I can see on my camera. Kokendorfer with the basketball, shot clock at 5 from the elbow, no good. The rebound and a fresh 30 for the Bearcats. Coming in, Hopkins now on the baseline, jumper, and good for Morgan Yamane. Morgan Yamane, freshman out of Moses Lake, Washington. Freshman being needed to step up here in the absence of some of the more senior members of the Willamette squad, including Drew Farmer, the junior point guard, who got injured in game number 9. He's unavailable to be here in game number 10. It's a 3-point lead for Willamette. Serrato, unable to handle the pass, scramble on the floor. Ball still being battled for and finally corralled by the Bearcats. Now pushing it up the floor. Morrill up ahead, underneath, basket, good for Logsdam, off the feed from Lucy Morrill, and it's the biggest lead of the day for Willamette. The third period will end with a long shot that is no good. And we will go to the final 10 minutes with Willamette leading UW-Stevens Point 49-44. Biggest lead of the afternoon, as I said. Glad you joined us. Glad you found us. You know, we know 13 people are waiting on the original live stream, and we apologize in advance for all of that.
For our game, Carthage's game, for the live stream, we have our record as 5-4. We have 6-4.
Okay. I don't know if we can fix the graphic, but we'll keep that.
Yeah, it's fine. Thank you.
Okay. That was what we had. Getting ready to start the final 10 minutes of action. Now the Pointers will start with the basketball, and of course they are working on the basket to our right. Here in the fourth period. Pointers down by 5 here with the basketball, and pass deflected out of bounds off Amanda Carpenter will remain Pointer ball. Greenheck with the basketball, launches from 3, no good. Rebounded by Hopkins. We'll get you a look at third quarter stats coming up here in just a moment. Almost stolen away. In the third period, Pointers 4 for 12 from the floor, 2 for 5 from beyond the arc, 6 for 6 from the line. Willamette was 7 of 13 from the floor, and that shot no good by Kokendorfer. Rebounded by the Pointers. 3 of 7 from beyond the arc for Willamette in period number 3 at 2 for 2 from the foul line. Pointers had a 7-6 rebounding advantage in the third period. But they trail 49-44. Nice move in the paint for Bailey Collins, and the basket is good, cutting the lead down to 3. Shirley Egner probably wanted her team to come out and establish that offense, establish themselves in the first possession of the fourth period, but took a little longer than expected. They got it the second time around. It's Kokendorfer dribbling in, kicks it back outside, wide open as Hopkins up top. No good. Long rebound comes to Geyer. Geyer pushing the ball up the floor for the Pointers. Hands it off for Bayman. Bayman dribbles in, nice, switches hands, puts it up high off the glass for the left hand, but no good. And rebounded by the Bearcats. Morrill comes down with it. Up ahead for Hopkins. 8:22 and counting remaining in regulation. 49-46. Willamette with the lead and the basketball. Kokendorfer leaves it short. She missed her last couple of shots, had back-to-back threes to help fuel Bearcats out to this big lead. Here's Serrato, shot blocked from behind by Kokendorfer, but Serrato corrals it. A second block shot on the same possession by Kokendorfer. And that one is out of bounds, and it's Pointer basketball. Logsdon will go to the bench for the Bearcats. Yamane coming back into the game for Willamette. We mentioned Willamette playing short. They don't have their starting junior point guard, Drew Farmer. Leads the team in assists, averages 8.2 points a game. But they're hanging in. They're leading 49-46 with 7:45 to go here in the fourth period against UW Stevens Point at the D3Hoops.com Classic. Pat Coleman courtside here from the South Point Arena in Las Vegas, Nevada. Kokendorfer getting a lot of work here after she sat the final few minutes of the first half with an injury. Shot no good by Hopkins. You can begin to see where the Bearcats are losing some of their steam. Leaving shots short. Hustling a little bit less, maybe. Illegal screen called against the Pointers. First team foul on Stevens Point. Stevens Point has managed to avoid foul trouble essentially altogether. That's just their 7th foul of the day. For those of you who didn't hear the spiel at the beginning of the game, I'm broadcasting it from my cell phone with a tiny little tabletop tripod. So I'm lifting up the camera and moving it every time we change ends of the floor. And I apologize because it's not the smoothest of transitions. Hopkins with the basketball, shot clock at 9. Kokendorfer now hands it off at the elbow, and the shot rattles in for Morgan Yamane, and the lead is back to 5 for the Bearcats. Yamane with her 5th and 6th points of the afternoon off the bench, averaging just 2.4 points a game coming today, and answering with a 21-footer is Carly Serrato, a long 2. Cuts the lead to 51-48. Hopkins with the basketball, guarded by Aaron Nias, the freshman. Oh, leaves that pass short. Looked lost it, made it slipped out of her hands a little bit, but the Bearcats rescued by a foul. Brooke Geyer gets called for her first. Second team foul here of quarter number 4. Lucy Morrill goes to the bench. Kaylee Vickery back into the game. Logsdorf with the shot off the back iron, no good. Rebounded by Bayman. Bayman's 8th rebound of the afternoon leads everybody. Her team trails by 3 on the scoreboard, 51-48, and unable to hold on to the pass is Kellen Schmidt up ahead, and finishing the layup is Amanda Carpenter. The lead is back to 5. So a turnover, and the Bearcats make them pay as Carpenter sprints to the other end for 2. Bayman thinking about it from the perimeter, gives it up for Serrato, swings near side for Nias. Nias dribbling in, switches hands, blocked by Kokensdorfer, and then a foul. Compounding it all by committing a foul. Kellen Schmidt going to get called for the foul. And for Schmidt, that is foul number 2 from the looks of it. And the 3rd team foul of the period. 53-48, Willamette with the lead, trying to add to it, and going hard to the floor is Kaylee Vickery, but she's helped to her feet. Nias picks up foul number 1, 4th team foul of the period. Here's how it's gone foul-wise today. Stevens Point called for 4 fouls in the first period, none in the second, 1 in the third, and then 4 here in the first 4 minutes and 40 seconds of the 4th period. Peg Swadner making her case to the officials that Vickery, because she was slow to get up after getting fouled a little bit hard, is eligible to be taken out of the game. They're going to talk to her, and Casson Hopkins is going to come in to take the free throws. Hopkins makes the first. Hopkins, we mentioned this already, she was perfect on the season coming in. She remains so, 9 of 9 from the foul line. Vickery, though, no slouch herself. She's an 83% free throw shooter, so the only advantage gained is not really a gamesmanship or a gaming the system as much as getting your injured player off the floor. And the lead is 7. Biggest lead for either team here in this game. 55-48. Bayman dribbles in, kicks outside. Serrato playing kind of a 3-man game right now, and there's going to be a foul called against Willamette. Amanda Carpenter picks up foul number 3. She'll head to the bench. Yamane comes back into the game. Hopkins with 13, Carpenter and Kokendorfer with 10 apiece. Inbounds comes in, and the shot is no good by Bayman, and one and done. Kokendorfer right there for the rebound, her 8th of the afternoon. Kokendorfer, at least by my count, with 3 blocks just here in the second half. And credited with a couple in the first half as well. Shot on the way is too long, no good by Madison Ballard. Coming back the other way, Bayman trying to finish. Can't do so, but she'll have a chance to do so at the line. Three-point game not working for the Pointers here this afternoon. Not much below their average, 4 of 15 from beyond the arc, and Bayman's first shot is good. Bayman, we mentioned she's a freshman out of Plainfield, Wisconsin, team's leading scorer and rebounder at 13.9 points and 6.8 boards a game. And she makes both of those to get her team back within 5 at 55-50. Bayman into double figures now with 11. Willamette with the basketball. Hopkins looking inside for Kokendorfer. Brings it back out. Shot clock at 10. Kokendorfer now going to take one-on-one. Kicks it back outside for Morrill. Shot clock at 3. Floats it. Hits it. Morrill from about 18 feet with the shot clock running down. Finds the bottom of the net, and it is again a 7-point game, 57-50. Bayman looking inside. Serrato. Shot no good. And a foul. I don't know what you guys are hearing on the stream, but someone's calling me. Hopefully you guys are not hearing my ringtone. Serrato goes to the line, a 66% free throw shooter, and the first one is good. Yeah, I've got to figure out how to zoom in with any precision. But she makes them both, cuts the lead down to 5, 57-52. This backup stream has done pretty well for us. We thank you all for tuning in. And Morrill's entry pass deflected by Serrato and taken away by the Pointers. Serrato with the basketball. Her team down by 5 with 3:21 to go here in regulation. Kicking back outside, 3 ball on the way, and that is short by Brooke Geyer. Battle on the rebound, putting it back up and getting it to fall is Amber Bayman. Huge basket and a timeout. Timeout for Peg Swadner and the Bearcats, as her team has given up back-to-back buckets and seen their 57-50 lead dwindle down to 57-54, and it has been a fourth quarter in which we have kind of seen this from Willamette. We mentioned a few minutes ago that it looked like they were tired. They were just kind of hanging in on some possessions, and getting a timeout and getting her team a chance to sit and getting to talk to her team is going to be great for them to kind of rejuvenate here for the final 3:09. And of course, nobody's taken a timeout on either side before this, so we could actually have a fairly long final 3:09 of regulation. But other than that, knock on wood, I mean, it's only 1:15 Pacific time, so we could call all 9 of those timeouts here in the next 3:09 and still get the next game off at a reasonable pace. Amber Bayman with 13 points to lead the Pointers. 4 of them here in the fourth quarter. Carly Serrato with 11, 4 of them in the fourth quarter. Brooke Geyer has 8. And we appreciate everybody tuning in. To think that you could do this in this day and age with a cell phone, a crappy tripod, some Wi-Fi, and a wired head earpiece. I don't know. It somewhat boggles the mind. I love technology. That's why we run a website. Hopkins with 8 seconds on the shot clock, dribbles in. Oh, puts it up too fast. And finally, Bayman comes down and controls it for the Pointers. 57-54, 2:39 and counting remaining here in the fourth. Bayman with the basketball, a little crossover, tries to take it in and kind of leaning up against Amanda Carpenter, and Carpenter with enough contact to get called for the foul. Carpenter's fourth personal foul, fourth team foul here of the quarter. Willamette to 5 on Amanda Carpenter, excuse me. Because she fouls out with 2:31 to go. Pointers with the basketball. Down by 3 with 2:25 and counting. Little reverse move. Oh, left a little bit too short for Kellen Schmidt. And logs them with the rebound for the Bearcats. Bearcats just 3 of 10 from the floor here in the fourth period. 0 for 2 from three-point range. And trying to avoid a 5-second call from Morgan Yamane. Swadner takes a 30-second timeout. We'll keep it here and tell you that we've got 17 more games to come. Not all today, but a good number of them today. And we will start, of course, with the game that comes up next after this one. Not on this stream, but on another one. We will have Carthage and Ohio Northern, so we'll get that game for you. Scheduled to tip off at 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Central Time. Dave McHugh and I will be on the call for that. I am confident that Dave will have a stream for us that functions. Dave's nodding his head. And so Willamette to inbound in front of its own bench with 2:03 to go, 13 on the shot clock. And Kokendorfer is going to draw the blocking foul on the baseline. This will be a shooting foul here, as it's the 5th foul of the half, of the fourth period. Kokendorfer, 68% foul shooter, makes the first. Had those big back-to-back three-pointers earlier in this half that help stake the Bearcats to this lead that they currently enjoy, 4 points, and make it 5. 12 points on the afternoon for Brittany Kokendorfer. Making an early case for all-tournament team. And we start thinking about all-tournament team right here, right out of the gate, and a turnover as Taylor Greenhack loses the ball. And now Willamette up by 5 with the basketball and $1:49 to go. Madison Ballard comes into the game. Morrill goes back to the bench. Morrill playing some huge minutes off the bench. Situation where the backcourt a little depleted for Willamette. Kokendorfer, the senior, started her career at Idaho State. Has had a big second half. Hopkins with the ball, 13 on the shot clock. Gets it back, the shot clock at 9, Kokendorfer. Gets a screen, dribbles back outside, now a wide open 3 on the way for Hopkins, and she hits it. And it's an 8-point lead for Willamette. Biggest lead of the afternoon with $1:13 to go. The Pointers, underhanded layup is good by Serrato, they answer. Cut the lead to 6. Kokendorfer taking her time. She's got time. The clock stopped with a minute to go. The basket was made with 1:05, and then it ran to a minute and stopped. That is not how that works. It's not how that goes. Last I checked, shot no good by Willamette. 3 on the way by Bayman. Shot no good. Rebounded right, tipped into the hands of Brooke Geyer. She gets the bucket, and Shirley Egner wants a timeout. Egner trying to will her team back. They were down by 8 just a few moments ago. Here with 39.6 seconds to play. Casson Hopkins after that three-pointer now with a game-high 16, 4 for 6 from beyond the arc. Kokendorfer, we talked about the points, we talked about the blocked shots, we talked about the rebounds a little bit too. She also has 6 assists, filling up the box score. Let's see if I can find get you blocked shots also, because there were a fair number of those, 4 blocked shots, and now Willamette's going to take a full timeout. So back-to-back timeouts with 39.6 to go. Dave tried to get one of the officials to come over and has no, this is a desert. You can't, you gotta wet your lips a lot. Yeah.
Pathetic.
It's not the best whistling I've ever heard.
No.
Dave will join us for game number 2. I'm gonna get you a little look at South Point Arena, especially if you're just joining us and didn't see our whip around earlier. Did not really whip you around, that would be cool. I kind of liken it to like a Big West arena, a very small D1. When fully enabled, seats probably about 4,000 or so. But here behind these curtains are where the locker rooms and the restrooms are. You can see the banners for each of the 18 teams participating at this tournament.
On the minute, it was at 105 for basket. Yeah, because after it made basket, it stops at 1. But it was at 105.
But yeah, that's not how that goes.
If we had replay, we could go back.
Trust me, I wish.
Dave is like, yeah, I could do replay. Give me a monitor. I mean, I couldn't get us on the air for the third period, but I could do replay for the other 17 games.
Exactly.
There's another timeout. Like I said, Dave, they could use all of these timeouts here. To the timeouts thing, another timeout. 1 timeout remaining for Willamette. But, this is a key possession, and the shot clock is at 30, and there's 39.6 seconds left in the game.
Because I work Division 2. We use monitors for our conference. Yeah. The monitor's great because you can go back.
Peg Swadner also, of course, getting her team a little bit of time off the floor as well. You've got Hines inbound right in front of her own bench. She's guarded by Amber Bayman. Have to figure there's going to be a foul coming right away, and there it is as Morgan Yamane will go to the line. Now they inbounded it to her immediately, so you have to think that Swadner and the Willamette coaching staff know this. But she misses the first. She was 0 for 5 from the line on this season, and I guess for her career coming into the afternoon. Made her first 2, missed that one. But this could make it a 5-point game, and she does. With 38.5 seconds to go, the timeout fest continues, and it's Stevens Point taking a 30-second timeout this time.
Can't take them with you.
You can't take the timeouts with you, but there's nothing that says you have to use all of them.
No.
We're perfectly glad to let you, you can cash in those timeouts at the craps table, I'm sure. Probably not true. Here in the 4th period, Stevens Point 5 of 15 from the floor. You can probably do the math yourself, but that's 33%. 0 for 2 from downtown. But 4 for 4 from the foul line. Willamette here in this period, 4 for 12 from the floor, 33%. 1 for 3 from beyond the arc. 4 for 6 from the foul line. Willamette getting out-rebounded by 10, 36-26. But they're shooting really well from outside the arc, 10 of 24. A long inbounds pass. But Bayman can't finish. Had the inbounds in the front court and could not finish the layup if she was wide open. And so they will have to send Willamette back to the line here. And the first shot is good. Hopkins remains on the season, perfect on the afternoon, of course, and it's only like the fourth time I say it that I end up jinxing her, so that's fine. They get the offensive rebound, and they'll be going back to the line. Everybody's pretty excited about that. Did you see the big huddle and the smiles from Elizabeth Logsdam, the junior forward, who got that big board? So first one on the way. And that one's no good off the back iron. Morrill, we mentioned she's a sophomore eligibility-wise, getting a good amount of playing time today because the backcourt for Willamette a little depleted, and that's no good, and a defensive rebound and also a foul against Willamette. So Yamane is going to go for the foul, and that's going to put Stevens Point at the line for a pair. Peg Swadner not particularly happy about that, but watching as her team is trying to hold on down the stretch. First shot for Bayman is good. Bayman, 90% free throw shooter. 5 for 5 today. 6 for 6 today. And it's a 4-point game with 27.2 seconds to go. Willamette will take timeout. I'd like to take this time to remind you that this broadcast of the D3Hoops.com Classic from the South Point Arena in Las Vegas, Nevada, is the property of D3Hoops.com and intended solely for the private, personal use of our audience. Any other broadcast, rebroadcast, or other use of the descriptions and accounts of this game without the express written consent of D3Hoops.com and Sport Tours International is strictly prohibited. I don't know, in the way that streams are set up these days, I don't suspect we have a lot of people on this stream tuning in early for the next game, because that's not really how it works. But if you are here for that next game, thanks for checking in early. Carthage beat Stevens Point, of course, just 7 days ago by an 87-76 score. Carthage will be facing Ohio Northern coming up in just a little bit. Carthage at 6-4, we just found out, because Carthage had a game that they did not put into the system. That's helpful. And Ohio Northern also at 6-4. So coming out of the Willamette timeout, up by 4 with 27.2 to go. Bunch of ball handlers on the floor right now, along with Logsdam, the 6'1" junior forward, and Kokendorfer is going to get fouled right away. Game clock at 25.4. First shot on the way, good. Mentioned what a big game Kokendorfer has had. $13 points, and it'll have to stay there, and a foul on the rebound as Logsdon goes flying in and makes all sorts of contact. Remember, too, that back at the 2:39 mark, Amanda Carpenter fouled out of this game. Carpenter, who had 10 points and a pair of steals, providing some stability in that backcourt as the first shot is good by Kellen Schmidt. It's been Casson Hopkins handling the ball today with Drew Farmer out with injury. She's done a really fine job. She just turned the ball over twice. Schmidt makes the second, and it is now a 3-point game with 25.4 to go. Willamette has to convert this offensive possession into something. And right away, Hopkins is fouled. We mentioned Hopkins, now 5 of 6 from the line today, and 11 of 12 on the season. That's the person you want at the foul line if you're the Bearcats right now. Willamette now out of timeouts. Stevens Point with 3 of them remaining if they need them, whether they need them, whether they use them. First shot is good, and it's once again a 2-possession game. to see the sports information directors for Carthage and Ohio Northern standing back behind us, getting ready for this game, and there's a timeout going to be called by Carthage with 23.3 to go. Tomorrow's women's basketball schedule here at the D3Hoops.com Classic will resume at 10 a.m. Pacific time, because who needs sleep? Buena Vista will take the floor. They will face 18th ranked Gettysburg. That is at, as I said, at 10 a.m. Pacific time, 1 a.m. or 1 p.m. 1 p.m. Eastern. 7th ranked Amherst faces Westfield State in the following game at noon tomorrow. And Ohio Northern finishes it off for women's action on Friday against Willamette. Of course, Carthage and Ohio Northern coming up next. See the Carthage team there, waiting underneath the basket to our left, waiting to take the floor. They got plenty of time to get this game over with, however, and still stay on time. For those of us who are here for all of the games, the most important thing is that the games stay on time, but also that they're competitive and fun, and that nobody gets hurt. Pointers with the basketball. Serrato dribbles in now. She's going to take the left-handed layup. Too strong. Kokendorfer there once again for the rebound. Kokendorfer with 9 boards on the day, all of them on the defensive end. And she will go to the line here with essentially a chance to seal this up. It is already a 5-point game with 16.7 ticks to go. 2 shots here, 2 successful free throws would make it a 7-point game, a 3-possession game, and the first one is good. Kokendorfer, 14 points. Misses the second, so the Pointers still have life, and Bayman takes the timeout. Even after this, the Pointers still have one more timeout to go. Oh, a 6-point game. Pointers, of course, can get that in 2 possessions, but they have struggled from beyond the arc today, as we have said. 4 of 16 from 3-point range today, 2 of 7 in the second half. Pointers 9 of 29 from the floor here in the second half. But a perfect 14 of 14 from the foul line. Probably not something that's going to help them here. But of course, they will get to inbounds in the front court after the timeout with 15.4 ticks to go. Bayman in this spot just a couple of possessions ago missed a wide open layup. Here comes the inbounds. Pointers dribbling it inside, and Geyer's shot rolls around and in. 10.9 to go. Lead down to 4. They take the 2. Kokendorfer looking to inbounds. Gets it to Hopkins. Hopkins gets fouled with 9.8 to go. And we'll send Hopkins back to the foul line. Shirley Egner has not been willing to throw in the towel here for her team. As Kellen Schmidt fouls out, her 5th foul comes with 8.9 to play. Egner, of course, as we mentioned, in her 30th season as a head coach of the Pointers, 544 career wins against 246 losses, and of course, the national championship in 2002 in a thrilling win against St. Lawrence, held in Terre Haute, Indiana. Hopkins missed the first shot. Second shot now on the way, and that is good. It's a 5-point lead once again for Willamette. And sure, Stevens Point's going to take the last timeout. Down by 5 with 9.8 to go. If nothing else, of course, in women's basketball these days, you take the timeout just to advance the ball 47 feet. And when you're down by 5 and have just 9.8 ticks to play, you can't afford to be wasting any time advancing the ball out of the backcourt. Bearcats at 4-5. It's the Pointers that are at 4 and 5. The Bearcats 5 and 4. The Bearcats at 3 and 6. Coming in off 3 consecutive losses. They're trying to snap that losing streak here. If they can hold on for the final 9.8. Collins inbound in front of her own bench. Up top for Geyer. Clock is rolling. Swings near side for Serrato. Down by 5. Serrato dribbles it in and gets it to roll over the top for 2 with 3 seconds to go. Hopkins gets the inbounds and manages to avoid the defender for a good 2.5 seconds. But she, of course, is fouled. With 0.6 to go, one free throw here, one successful free throw, can basically end this. And Hopkins makes it happen. Hits the first. So it was a back and forth game for most of the first 3 quarters. Kokendorfer hit back-to-back threes and a miss. No good, and the clock expires. And Willamette breaks that losing streak. And you see their fans opposite us here. Pretty happy to see that. The final score. Willamette defeats UW's Point by the score of 70-66. So Willamette improves to 4 and 6. The Pointers fall to 4 and 6. Hang with us here for final stats coming up in just a moment. Again, as the Bearcats are victorious, and they defeat UW-Stevens Point by the score of 70-66. Coming up next, here on this same floor in a little over 20 minutes, will be Ohio Northern University taking on Carthage College. This is why I never say college or university. I had to think about that for a second. Waiting for the final stats to load here. Give me just one moment. Stevens Point, trailed by as many as 8, managed to scratch and claw their way down to 3, but with just 0.6 seconds left, there was not enough time for them to do anything else with it. Now for Willamette, as they improved to 4 and 6, they were led by Casson Hopkins. Hopkins, of course, the junior guard, led the way with 21 points on 4 for 11 shooting, 4 for 6 from downtown, 9 of 12 from the foul line, also 3 assists in her 32 minutes of action. Brittany Kokendorfer, 14 points, 9 rebounds, all of them on the defensive end, 6 assists, officially 4 blocked shots, 4 for 9 from the floor, 2 for 4 from beyond the arc. Amanda Carpenter with 10 on 4 for 10 shooting. She fouled out after 24 minutes of action. Morgan Yamane off the bench with a key 7 points. Logsdon with 6. Ballard and Morrill with 5 apiece. Avery Mickelson with 2. And then Kaylee Vickery did not score in 26 minutes of action. 21 of 50 from the floor, 42%. 10 of 24 from beyond the arc, 42%. 18 of 27 from the charity stripe, 66.7%. They were out-rebounded 39-29 were the Bearcats. They turned over the ball 9 times compared to 8 for the Pointers. The Pointers were led by Amber Bayman with double 15 points, 12 rebounds, 11 of them on the defensive end. Carly Serrato with 15 points as well for UW-Stevens Point, but it came on 6 of 18 shooting and 1 for 7 from three-point range. Brooke Geyer with 12, shooting 4 for 12 from the floor, 2 for 5 from beyond the arc. And then it was Kellen Schmidt off the bench with 6, Jordan Ellis and Bailey Collins with 5 apiece, Erin Nias with 4, Jessica Slowick with 2, and Taylor Greeneck with 2. for the total of 66 points. Erin Moran also, along with Marissa Delaney, played but did not score for the Pointers, who shot 22 of 62 from the floor, 36%, 4 of 16 from beyond the arc, 25%, 18 of 19 from the foul line, or 94.7%. Thanks for joining us. I'm going to call an entire game through a cell phone, because in 2019, you can do that, and that's great. So I've been sitting here calling this game on the cell phone. Thank you, everybody. I really appreciate you tuning in. It's been a great time calling this game. We've got 4 more to come here at the D3Hoops.com Classic, and then 12 more after that over the next 3 days. Once again, the final score. Willamette 70, UW-Stevens Point 66. Good afternoon, everybody.